Risk versus reward. Flip the script. Hey guys, Jim Edwards here. Welcome to another Doc Talk with Jim. It's been a while. I've been a little busy, but that's no excuse for not doing video live. We all need to be super consistent in our content creation. So I promise you that I will not let this happen again. To have a long time between videos. Just been busy. Lots of new things going on. So, risk versus reward. And hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm trying out a new microphone thing with my active headphones. Hopefully you can hear me. So, risk versus reward. What does that mean? Well, interestingly enough, hey Lisa, hopefully you can hear me. Risk versus reward. What does that mean? Well, typically in a business sense, risk versus reward, people are thinking about, okay, well, what is the risk if I do this versus the potential reward if I'm successful? Basically, they're evaluating whether or not something is going to work, and if it doesn't work, will it kill me? I guess this goes back to caveman hunter days. But I don't like to look at the world in a zero-sum game. In other words, in order for me to win, somebody has to lose. If someone else wins, then I lose. That's not the way to look at the world. And most of the time, when you're doing something, especially something new, when you're doing something unfamiliar, it's scary. So when you're scared, you can't spot the potential rewards. But I always like to look at something, especially when I'm trying something new, from the standpoint of, okay, what's the least best thing that can happen? What will I learn? What will I discover? What distinction will I make? Will I prove something to myself? Will I disprove something? Will I figure something out? And I'll tell you a quick story. So I went to work for a company back in 2001, it was 2000, for making $1,500 a month. I had let myself get so low, I'd gone from making six figures as a mortgage banker to $1,500 a month. And I was like happy to do that. And in my mind, it was like, okay, the money's not there, but the potential reward for learning something, for figuring something out is tremendous. And I don't even know what it is. Because I remember telling my wife in 1997, I said, if we're ever going to get rich, the only way we're going to get rich is going to be through this internet thing. And I don't even know how it's going to happen. I even called it the internet thing. So I went to work for this company and I had no idea. I just knew that I was going to learn something. So in the process, after about 6 months, I went to my boss and I said, you know what? I think that I can put together a CD-ROM like Video Professor. And I think that I can put this together and teach people with video the process that we use to get sites to #1 on Yahoo and to promote in the search engines, and I think we can sell it. And he said, okay. So I don't think he really thought I could do it, but we had to go speak at this conference in Boulder, Colorado. And I figured out over the course of 2 months, I figured out how to create the videos. We used software, this will show you how old I am, called Lotus Screen Cam. And we used Real Video, not Real Video, but a software program called Real Video. That was the way that you could transcode video and do full motion video. And I figured out how to create the videos, how to burn them to CD-ROM, how to create the menus, how to do all these things. I mean, this is cutting edge stuff back in December of 2000. And I figured out how to do it. I created this product. I got it up to where the product was making about $100,000 a month by March of 2001. And then in June of 2001, my boss fired me, because we had a disagreement about a couple of things. And I realized initially I was thinking to myself, oh my God, I took this big risk. Did I really learn anything? I was only making $1,500 a month. And then I realized I had gotten the biggest reward of all, because I was the one who had learned how to create these CD-ROMs, how to create the videos, how to put everything together. And over the course of the next 3.5 years, I literally created and sold millions of dollars of CD-ROMs with educational products on them. And so the risk, if I had looked at it just, the risk versus the reward was only the $1,500 a month I was going to make. It would have been a complete disaster. But when I saw that the reward was that I had learned how to put this stuff together, and I was the one who knew how to do it. I was the one who knew how to write the sales letter to sell it. I was the one that knew how to create and architect the whole thing. All of a sudden, the risk, there wasn't any risk. The risk was not doing it. The risk, it was like the reward was, hey, I'm going to learn all this stuff over the course of the next year. I'm going to get my income supplemented in order to do it. And by the way, this is not an income claim. Your results may vary. The last 4 months of 2001, I made more money than I had made the 4 previous years combined. So now we talk about risk versus reward. The risk would have been not to take that job. The risk would have been to try and play it safe. So my whole point is that, and I do have one, when we talk about risk versus reward, reward can come in many different forms, not just in money. And risk is, in a lot of ways, a scarcity mindset. So one thing though, whenever somebody's asking you to risk a whole bunch of money or risk a whole bunch of time and never risk your reputation, by the way. Of course, you got to really weigh out the risk versus the reward, especially when we're writing checks or stuff like that. But you also got to understand what is the risk versus what is the potential reward. And if you can dimensionalize the potential reward far beyond just money, and if it makes sense from learning, experiencing, Lisa says, embrace your journey. Exactly. I mean, if the journey is going to take you further down the road as a person and make you better and help you to have and do and be more, then that really diminishes the risk. So I'm not telling you to go borrow $100,000 against your house and join an MLM. I've done some stupid stuff like that. But what I am telling you is don't have such a closed mindset that you're so worried about the risk that you can't see the rewards that will come naturally as a part of engaging in the process and embracing your journey. So just some thoughts. One thing that you can do that has very low risk and very high potential of reward is to make sure that you go through my 7-day ebook process and create a book. We all got a book in us. We all have a message to share. Worst thing that will happen if you go through that process is you'll get super clear on your own thoughts. You'll get super clear on your audience, and you'll get better in the process. That's the worst thing that will happen. Oh, and you'll be a published author too. And nobody can ever take that away from you. So that's a pretty cool thing. You can check that out at 7dayebook.com. I'm Jim Edwards. That's my thought on risk versus reward. Everybody have a wonderful day. Let me know what you think about the quality of this sound versus the other ways that I've been doing it too, just as an aside. Let me know in the comments. I just decided to try something different with my headphones. They got a built-in microphone to see if that does better than what I was doing before. So everybody have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.